massive scout.
Welcome back to the Sunday Footy Show, and a big welcome to our New South Wales viewers as well. What a game this one was. The Eels catapulting back into top 4 contention and ending the Storm with hopes of setting a new record for the most consecutive wins. So this was certainly a thrilling game to watch, wasn't it?
Best win of the year for the Parramatta side. Been under so much pressure. Came into this one with not a lot of external expectations, but they came up with a performance. The 29th minute, Melbourne scored their final point and Parramatta kept them scoreless from that moment on. You know, that's a great effort. They won this game on their merit. Melbourne, you know, you could say were off to some degree, but you've also got to factor in how much were they off because of what Parramatta did to them in the way that they aggressively defended and contested and all of those things. So it was a great win, denying, obviously, the Melbourne Storm that 20th straight win, but they were denied by a really good performance.
They had plenty of chances. Like Parramatta gave them opportunities. They dropped ball. They gave penalties. There was, I think, there was a couple of 7-tackle sets, and you're right. There was a level of execution off for Melbourne, which you don't normally see, and there were some opportunities which they blew. But on the other hand, you know, I reckon Parramatta saved 6 tries. You know, with desperation tackle, Dylan Brown was outstanding, led the way in that department, and once again, front rowers. Front
rowers, mate, they owned it. Like, I know I always make jokes about the front rowers, but honestly, Junior Paulo and Isaiah Papali'i owned that middle third. They worked so hard, they were tireless, and they really brought the fight to the Storm, which we would normally see the Storm, you know, own Main Street and then play off the back of it and gives their halves enough time. But the way that the Eels played, the pressure that they applied to the Storm, I agree with both Stello and Freddie, denied the Storm that opportunity to play the style of game they wanted to play. They were really up for that fight. And I spoke about this last night, but the 72nd minute, when I saw 4 and 5 Parramatta jerseys converge to push Lumi over the sideline, they'd already had the game won, but they were still turning up and fighting for that, and that is final style football.
It was a really physical encounter. You could see it at the end of the game. The players were absolutely exhausted, but going ahead for the Eels, how much do you think that victory is going to take out of them leading into the finals? Because it was such a physical game.
Well, I don't think that's a problem for them. I think they'll be energised by that performance. You know, but again, as Brad Arthur pointed out after the game, it's being able to go into a Penrith game next week and reproduce everything that they did. The problem is more along the lines of Clint Gutherson didn't finish the game, Murata Niokore as well, so it's more about the troops. We've got Jahrome Hughes coming up shortly. You know, from Melbourne's point of view, Josh Adokar leading with a hamstring. That's a bit of a concern as well. So it's about getting your players out there healthy out of that kind of game for next week and the week after.
And not to mention the ones that are on report as well. So we had a number of players being put on report. So 5 players, I think it was again. So that's going to obviously come into...
All right, well, you mentioned Jahrome Hughes. He's standing by from the Melbourne Storm camp up in Queensland. Jahrome, thanks for joining us here on the Sunday Footy Show. Firstly, Brendan Smith spoke last night heading into the sheds. He wasn't looking forward to what Craig Bellamy was going to say after that result. How was Bellamy in the sheds afterwards?
As you can imagine, he wasn't happy. I think sometimes the less he says, it's the worse it is. So, we were disappointed in how we played, but like you guys said, Parramatta turned up and outplayed us.
Congratulations first, Jahrome, on your form this year and the fact you've won 19 games in a row. Is there a piece of you that's actually now happy that no one's going to ask you any more questions about this record?
Thanks to start with. But I don't know. It's one of those things that we had our eye on, but we weren't, I guess, too focused on it. We knew what we wanted to do this year, and that's, be playing finals footy and playing well. So we're proud of what we've done, but we still got a bit of work to do, and especially after that game, and try to build some momentum and coming into the finals.
Jahrome, just talking about players coming out of this game. Firstly, how did you pull up, and have you heard anything about Josh Adokar in relation to that hamstring?
Yeah, I was all good. Thanks, Sterlo. Just with Joshy, I think a little bit of a hammy. I think obviously with hammies you don't really want to, I guess, risk it, especially this late in the year. And I think he probably won't play next week, but hopefully he should be sweet for game 1 of the finals.
Do you think he's just embarrassed he got run down by a front rower?
Could be that, mate. After that happened, I think he might have just done the old, that my hammy was sore, that's probably why I got run down.
Jerome, heading into round 25, we did hear some talk from Craig Bellamy that he'd be resting some players. Do you know any more about that, or do you think that you'll try and get a few more troops out there?
Yeah, not sure. I think some of the boys who might need the rest might take the rest, and some of the boys that might, still think they need a bit more footy might play. So I'm not too sure how we're gonna run with it. I think we'll find out, during this week. And the boys who think they need a rest, or if the coaches think they need a rest, then we'll probably give them a rest. But I think it's up to the individuals and how they're going.
And so is that a choice that the individual can make if they feel like they're just a little bit flat or they've got some nigglies, they can sort of ask to have that game off, or is it more from top down?
I think the coaches will ask a question to a few blokes, and then I guess a few of the blokes can let the coaches know how they're feeling as well. If they think they need a rest, and the coaches think they need a rest as well, they can have a chat about it. But I think it's just going to be on the individual, and obviously coach, if he's willing to give the rest, he'll give the rest. But
I'd love to hear that conversation. Craig, just feeling a bit tired, mate. I was wondering, any chance I could skip this weekend? I just, wouldn't mind a bit of sunbaking.
Just
Have you ever tried it?
Yeah. I'm not sure that'd go down really well. What about some of the players that are out, mate? Like Dale, Nelson. They don't look like they're resting. They're coming back from injuries. Can you tell us when they're due back?
Yeah, I think both of those boys should be back next week. So obviously they won't rest if they've been out for a couple of weeks. So they're going to probably need to play a bit of footy before coming into finals. So hopefully those two boys, if nothing happens, they'll be back this week or next week. Sorry.
I just want to echo what Brad had to say, Jerome. Congratulations on your form. It's been sublime. You've been a revelation. Did you have any history of playing in the halves as a younger player coming through? Like we know coming to Melbourne at one stage, fullback looked like might have been your go. But now, what's your foundation with that number 7?
Yeah, I mostly played fullback when I was coming through the grades, and I tried a bit at 5'8" here and there, but that didn't really work out that much, and I found myself, more comfortable at fullback, where now I feel like I've moved into that halfback spot, and if I went back to fullback, I wouldn't know what to do. So, I don't know how it worked out, but I feel like I've moved myself into the halfback position, and I don't really see myself going back there.
Neither do I.
I don't want to sound creepy, but you sometimes play a bit like a back row because you look pretty solid. How heavy are you? It's a little bit creepy. How heavy? What do you weigh?
No, I'm not that. I'm 88 kilos. I'm not that heavy. Might be the chubby face, mate, I think.
You just built low to the ground. A good power base.
That's just in your widescreen TVs, mate.
Jerome, during the week, Craig Bellamy spoke on 100% Footy about the system that they have at the Storm and how they poach players. They speak to some schools and they speak to their teachers, and that's how they get players in the Storm system. What was the case for you?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I was up at playing at the Cowboys. I was playing Q Cup up there for the Blackhawks, and I got one game at the Cowboys, and then Melbourne sort of come knocking, and when I first thought about coming down to Melbourne, I thought I'm not going to play any footy. Like they had Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk there, Cameron Smith, Munster was there as well, and I was thinking I don't want to go there, but my manager not forced me, but he told me to look at it and just, mate, go down and learn as much as I can, and do the best I can down there. And then if I want to go somewhere after learning a bit, then I can do that. But I've learned so much here, and I've loved it here. And now that I've sort of cemented a spot, I don't really want to leave.
Now, Jerome, back to that positional switch. I just wanted to ask you, how did the conversation come about with Craig Bellamy, or who had the conversation with you to move into that number 7 jersey?
Yeah, it was, Craig and a few of the coaches. Adam O'Brien was there at the time as well. And, when they first sort of said it, I was sort of, I was a bit nervous because I didn't really play any halves at all, and I was sort of, obviously I wasn't going to say no, but the form Paps was in, and I just had to take the opportunity. And looking back at it now, I think it was the back of the end of that 19 season. I didn't play that well at halfback, and everyone was sort of questioning if I was, if that was the right choice by Craig. But I took that upon myself and the team to really try and nail myself down in that pre-season of 2020, and there's a lot of motivation, especially coming out of that 2019 season, disappointing loss in the prelim.
What's better, fullback money or halfback money?
We asked the hard questions.
You've gone his weight and his wage.
His weight and his wage.
Well, it really gets personal on a Sunday.
I'm still on Q Cup money anyway.
I'll be stalking your Instagram later.
All right. Thank you so much, Jahrome, for joining us here on the Sunday Footy Show. And whoever made that decision to move you certainly paid off.
It was a great
great decision.